Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Virtue's Last Reward. Let's continue with AB Game Round 3 Ally, after we've had that lovely little weird bit in the past. Where are we going to end up now?
Oh, どうやら二人とも気がついたようじゃな。
Yeah, it looks like we are. What happened? Is this the infirmary?
どうしてこんなところに?
Probably because we passed out when we went to Pastland.
AB ゲートを開いた時のことを覚えています。
あの後、私と K さんは医務室へと戻ったのですが、
いつまで経ってもシグマさんとファイさんがやってこないので、
それで様子を見に倉庫へと引き返したのです。
すると AB ルームの前にお二人が倒れているではありませんか。
Yeah, more or less what I thought.
そこで私と K さんは慌てて二人をこの医務室へと運び込んだというわけです。
I looked over at Phi and met her eyes. Do you remember what happened just now?
さっきって。
Hey, you don't have to get into specifics here, Phi. We're trying to have fun. Yeah, you got him pretty good, huh?
覚えてるよ。
ねえ、二人とも何の話してるの?
It's really weird hearing Quark's voice. I haven't heard it in a while. Well, I mean, it hasn't been that long, but it's been a little bit. Quark!
私もいるわよ。
Hi, Alice.
二人とも復活したんだな。
ええ、おかげさまで。そういえばシグマさんとファイさんが抗ウイルス薬を見つけてくれたんだよね。じっちゃんと一緒に。ありがとう。
No problem. All in a day's work. Although, I wouldn't mind a little swimsuit action.
お前、本当に見境がないな。
Hey, I wasn't talking to Quark. That was an offer to Alice.
どっちにしろ同じだろうが。
ねえ、そんなことよりも早くここを出ようよ。シグマとファイも目覚めたことだし、あとは Q の扉を開けば。
Huh?
どういうことだ?
バングルを見てみろ。
Really? Did you guys do... Wow, yeah. Well, thanks for that. I mean, you skipped a whole lot of pointless, like, you know, going into the room constantly thing. It was awfully nice of you guys. And it's also, you know, it's also fortunate for us that our opponent wasn't asleep as well, so we all got penalized. It says 10. I have 10 BP.
私の BP は意識を失う前は9だったから6点も加算されていることになるな。
But how?
あなたたちをここに運び込んでから
Yep, we figured.
2時間以上経過しています。その間に私たちは3回の AB ゲームを行ったのです。
Look, everyone's being all nice and happy together. 3 times?
ええ、もちろん一つのラウンドが終了するごとにバングルの表示はシャッフルされました。ですがいずれの場合も代表者が強力に投票したため、私たちの BP はすべて。
Because Dio was knocked out, so we couldn't make any bad choices.
目標値に達したのです。
That's so nice of you all. So, we gonna get to the leaving now? I was stunned. How had everyone cooperated long enough because Dio was asleep, and Phi, who kind of makes questionable choices occasionally to save herself, was also asleep. How had everyone cooperated long enough to raise all of our BP past 9? Was it because Akane hadn't been killed? Maybe. Without a death to start things off, maybe we'd been less suspicious of one another. Or could the bombs have had something to do with it? We'd all joined forces against Dio, and Phi and I had been able to disarm all of them. All of us had banded together against a common enemy and overcome a tremendous threat. Perhaps that'd strengthen our bond. Or maybe they're just decent people and they decided to work together for once. Which I had to admit would be somewhat ironic. After all, Dio had planted the bombs that forced us all to work together against him. This must have been what Akane was talking about.
言ったはずです。死は必要不可欠だったと。計画を遂行するには避けては通れない道だったのです。
とにかく早く行こうよ。9の扉を開いて脱出するんだ。
Wait. What about him? Getting a little mixed feelings about letting him go? After some discussion, we decided to leave Tio behind. Wow, I would have thought somebody would have stuck up for him. That's stunning. Alice was the only holdout. She complained about wanting to take him back to her superiors, but after I mentioned they'd come back to investigate after we escaped and deal with Dio then, she reluctantly complied. Yeah, I mean, I knew no one liked Dio, but I figured at least someone would stick up for him. That's interesting.
それじゃあ行こう。
Hopefully we get back to him before a couple days it comes up and he dies from dehydration. Everybody ready? I'm gonna open it.
頼んだわ。
Everyone else swallowed and nodded. I grabbed the lever and pulled it down. Ah, the fateful time when the door opens and we're not all dead or scrambling around each other, trying to hit each other in the face and whatnot.
Q の扉が開放されました。Q の扉閉鎖まで残り9秒です。
Alright everybody, let's move! I didn't need to tell them twice. The room inside was clearly a loading elevator. It looked sort of like a large plate on top of a huge pedestal. We ran to the center of the plate and turned around. The number 9 door stood wide open.
2、1、0、9の扉閉鎖。
Please stand away from the door, or your robot arms might get chopped off. Bye, Dio. I was just mildly expecting him maybe to do like a combat roll under the door or something, but apparently not.
9の扉を閉鎖しました。これにてノナリーゲームは終了となります。お疲れ様でした。なお、ゲームの終了に伴い、施設内にある9の扉以外のすべての扉は開放されます。
Finally gonna make it out and find our terrible world outside. Unless, of course, this reverse Schrodinger's cat experiment thing proves to be true and we come outside and we're in a field of daisies and wheat, kind of like the end of Portal 2. Sorry if I spoiled that for anyone. I think it's getting on the starting to get to the range where it's old enough that it's not that big of a spoiler. Yeah, we're all gonna have to suit up again, unless of course it's happier out here and we don't have to suit up.
着いたようじゃな。
ええ、先に進んでみましょう。
Does Luna have like an operational range that if she goes too far from, she's just gonna like fall over? Beyond the door was a wide hallway that ended in a very solid wall. To the left we found a very familiar looking door. We pushed it open and went in. Yeah, same room here. I guess we're gonna have to wear the equipment still? Maybe? The pressure exchange chamber.
知ってるの？
Yeah, sort of. This whole facility is pressurized, apparently. I think the idea is to keep the air outside, and consequently the virus, from getting inside. That means that if we want to go out, we have to decompress so that we match the outside air pressure. This room here is where you prepare for going into the actual pressure exchange room. You see all those suits along the wall? I figure we need to put those on and head to the decompression room downstairs.
ちょっと待ってよ。それじゃ、外の世界にはウイルスがうようよと充満してるっていうの？
It seems like it. Yeah, that's what it seems like, though aren't we infected with Radical 6 still? So does it matter? Unless something happened and I missed it. Of course, according to Akane, yeah, we were already infected with Radical 6, so the whole room seemed a little pointless. That's what I was saying.
どうして?
Well, except for possibly Alice, assuming she didn't get reinfected, and in Quark, they might actually be immune right now.
なんでそんなことに?
もしかして、テロはもう。
そんなバカな。ありえないわ。
とにかく、ここまで来た以上、引き返すわけにはいきません。外に出てみましょう。そうすれば、外の世界で何が起こっているのかは、おのずと明らかになるはずです。
わかった。
No one else objected. We all donned the protective suits and headed downstairs to the decompression room. As soon as we were all inside, the process began. Through my helmet, I could hear the soft hiss of air being sucked out of the room. We stood there for several minutes, waiting for the process to finish. And we're good now. At last it did, and we heard the door begin to open. Beyond it was another decompression chamber. We repeated the process 2 more times before we reached the final door and opened it. And we're on the weird space moon desert place. The dead, bleak landscape wasn't a surprise for me. I'd seen it before, in another timeline. Still very spooky out here. The others hadn't, however, and although I couldn't see their faces through the visor of their helmets, I heard more than a few gasps over the radio. For a few long moments, we just stood there, astonished.
ねえ、一体どこなのよ、ここは。
We're on the moon.
砂漠じゃない。
どこの砂漠よ。
わからないけど、でも今がいつなのかは、なんと月を見て真っ赤に染まってるでしょ。あれ、皆既月食だと思うんだ。
で、
次にそれが起こるのは2028年12月31日。ラウンジに置いてあった天文系の雑誌にそう書いてあって、だから。
ちょっと待ってよ。それじゃ何？私たちはさらわれてきてから1週間以上も眠り続けてたっていうの？
多分。
Wherever we were must have been far away from any city. The air was clearer than I'd ever seen it. And the stars. The sky was full of them. More stars than I'd ever seen in my life. I could even spot the hazy arm of the Milky Way. But the most striking feature was the moon. It was blood red and massive, much bigger in fact than I remembered it being. Then, as I watched, a black spot began to move across its surface. It was hard to see details, but it looked circular. The spot continued to move across the moon, heading for the right edge. It's getting taken over! What's that? The moon's shadow? I frowned. That didn't make any sense.
これまではゼロに口止めされておったんじゃよ。
Oh man, please tell me.
絶対に真実を告げるな。さもないとわしばかりかクオークまでもが命を失うことになるだろう。そう言われてな。そのことを条件にわしはクオークを連れて今回のゲームに参加したんじゃ。ただあいつに会うために、それだけのために。じゃがもう話してもいいじゃろう。お前さんたちが知らない真実について。もう一度言う。あれは月の影じゃ。
Are we on the moon? What are you saying?
そのままの意味じゃよ。あれが月の影だとしたら、それが映し出された天体は何じゃと思う？
まさか地球か？
Why is Earth red?
その通り。あれは月食によって赤く染まった月ではない。月食ではなく日食。地球上のあの黒い影の中では今まさに皆既日食が起こっておるんじゃよ。
What? No, no way. If that's the Earth, then where are we?
もちろん月だよ。
I told you guys, we really are on the moon.
ここは月面。
And that's why it looks all moon-like. It's not desert.
僕らがついさっきまでいた施設はそこに建設された基地だったんだ。
So basically that one ending that we had where we actually got out and we were going to go look for help was basically going to be completely futile because we're on the moon, not the Earth.
嘘でしょ。
So what's up with the Earth being red and all?
そんなの信じられないよ。ここが月だなんて。
そうよ。そんなのあまりにも滑稽で現実離れしすぎてるわ。第一重力のことはどうなるのよ。月の重力は地球の約6分の1。なのにこれは
Do
どう
we
いう
have
こと？
fancy magnet boots? She picked up a rock and dropped it.
今の見たでしょ。地球上で物体が落下する速度と何も変わらなかったわ。
いいえ、わずかに違いはあったはずです。
Luna, you gonna do some explaining?
私からご説明しましょう。私もここが月面だと知っているもののうちの一人ですから。もっとも一人という表現が正しいのかどうかは分かりませんが。
あなた一体何を言ってるの？
We don't have time for this. Just explain your thing,
とに
Luna.
かく聞いてください。
Thank you.
アリスさんはラジカル6というウイルスに感染しました。
Oh, is it the Radical 6 thing? And so everything looks like it's going faster or something? Or something like
そのウ
that?
イルスはアクセラビルを投与することによって駆逐されましたが、依然として脳への後遺症は残っているのだと思います。
後遺症？
はい。ラジカル6は脳の情報処理速度をルート6分の1に低下させるという特徴を持
So
ってい
it
ます。
just happens to be convenient that the Earth's the moon gravity is 1/6 less or whatever,
後遺症と
or
は
is 1/6 of Earth
そのこ
gravity.
とです。さらに付け加えておくと、そのウイルスはここにいる皆さん全員に感染しています。つまり全員の思考速度がルート6分の1に低下しているということです。ルート6分の1、小数に変換するとおよそ 0.408 になります。したがって通常の半分以下の速度で皆さんは思考を行っているということに。
I always get so confused by that.
ところで先ほどアリスさんがおっしゃった通り、月の重力加速
Has anyone bothered like
地球の
jumping
約6分の1になります。
and seeing how that does weird things with their head?
そしてある高さから物体が落下し、地表面へと達するまでにかかる時間はこの重力加速度の平方根に反比例します。要するに月面で物体が落下するの
Oh boy, example time with Luna.
地球上で 4.9 メートルの高さからリンゴが落下したとします。すると地表面に到達するまでには約1秒かかることになります。これが月面だと1秒のルート6倍、約 2.45 秒かかる計算に。今は分かりやすく高さを 4.9 メートルとしましたが、この値がいくつになっても月面での落下時間がルート6倍になることに変わりはありません。10センチだろうと10メートルだろうと同じです。繰り返します。月面での落下時間は地球のそれのルート6倍になる。ではこの時観測者の飛行速度がルート6分の1に低下していたとしたら、
Then it would match pretty nicely with that whole gravity thing. That's rather convenient, honestly.
2.45 秒が1秒に、 4.9 秒が2秒に、 7.35 秒が3秒に感じるはずです。これが皆さんの脳内で起こっている現象です。皆さんはラジカル6に感染したため、本来の時間をそのルート6分の1のものとして経験しているのです。
そんな、だから重力が弱くなってることに気づかなかったっていうの？
And no one like bothered jumping. Like even with the time difference, that still should have set off some alarms. Oh, is that why Fi can do the jumpy thing? Is that why Fi can do the jumpy thing? Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
本当に？
And Fi didn't. Okay.
夏馬さんもシグマさんもファイさんもラウンジで言ってた
Why
じゃ
didn't
ないです
anyone
か。
question the jumpy thing? That's what I'm a little curious about.
体に妙な違和感があるって。
We did say that, yeah.
体が自分のものではないような。
Probably because our bodies felt like a weird, different weight, yeah.
そ
It seemed insane, but what Luna said made sense. In fact, it explained Fi's apparent superhuman strength quite well. Yeah, and we never really questioned that. And then Fi did that really cool, yeah, that jumpy thing right there. No one seemed to question that either. Now, what I do find a little odd, unless Fi knew about this ahead of time, maybe she did, but if she didn't, I feel like that would throw off your jump if you were attempting to do it, unless you knew ahead of time that you would jump about that far. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too nitpicky
ねえ
here.
待ってよ。やっぱりおかしいわ。あの星が地球だなんて信じられない。
We're gonna talk about the Earth being red now?
私たちが知ってる地球は
Yeah, okay, let's get to
みず
that.
みずしく輝いてるはずじゃない。なのにどうしてあんな風に赤く染まってるのよ。
そのことを話す前に今がいつなのかを教えておこうかの。今は2028年
Oh
の
boy,
大晦日
what
で
is
は
it?
ない。1月27日じゃ。いいや、
まさか2030年の？
それも違う。
Is this gonna explain why Tenmyurji's old?
じゃあ一体いつの1月27日なのよ。
2074年のじゃ。
Wow. So yeah, I guess that explained why Tenmyurji's old. Now, wonder why all of us are young. Maybe cryosleep? But, that's gotta be pretty rough putting all these people into cryosleep or whatever form of sleep it is that keeps them from aging for that long. That is a long amount of time. Yeah. No. That's insane. I missed my final exam. They failed me. That would mean that we were abducted more than 45 years ago.
まあ信じられんとしても無理はない。じゃが、
I used to be a young
これは紛れもない
kid.
事実じゃ。
どうしてわかる？
And that would make sense that we were like, how could this have happened in such a short period of time? Well, it didn't. It happened over a very long period of time.
どうしても何もない。わしとクオークが地球を旅立ったのは2074年の1月23日のことじゃった。そしてこの日食。これが1月27日に起こることはあらかじめ決まっておった。 天体の運行に関する摂理じゃよ。誰にも揺るがすことはできん。
でもそのことと地球が赤いこととどういう関係が？
今から45年ほど前、
Basically, the world's screwed, right?
2029年の4月13日に地球上のあちこちで
We're bringing that up
エ
again.
ネルギーが放出されることになった。当時世界各地に存在していた
Wow.
18機の追消滅反応炉、
Let me guess, it was Dio's fault, right?
起こしたんじゃ。その威力は広島型原爆のおよそ18万倍。
What? Why?
話は数ヶ月ほど遡る。
You got a lot of explaining.
2028年の12月31日大晦日、その日ネバダ砂漠に建設された火星探査用シミュレーション施設で一つの事故が起こった。いや、事件と言うべきかもしれんな。その施設からラジカル6が漏洩したんじゃよ。このことに端を発してウイルスは瞬く間に世界中へと拡散していくことになった。